Now, those of you can see, I'm going to say, Rebecca, if you can see my presentation that says credibility sells, can you give me a thumbs up? Yay, we're doing great. So I am here to share some age-old wisdom today. So thank you very much for joining me for the Regional Business Support Network's BIZ episode for this month called Credibility Sells. My name is Michelle McFadden. I am a certified management consultant and award-winning business coach. I am now in the seat and blessed to be the business development advisor for the Regional Business Support Network. And really, I always say when people say, what do you do? It's like, I help businesses be more profitable, productive, and help with their people management. So the Regional Business Support Network is brought to you in a partnership with Community Futures Central Alberta and the town of Olds and Invest Olds. So thank you so much for joining me today. So let's get down into it, because I know these Biz Bites are supposed to be 20 minutes. And for those of you who know me, oh, I could talk so much longer than that, but I'll try really hard to keep it on time and on target. So let's talk about how you've been marketing your business. Over many, many decades, in fact, from the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, almost 50 years, advertising like the ones you see on your screen, our favorite ShamWow guy, don't forget Tony Little's Gazelle machine, and the OxyClean guy, put advertising into people's hands, whether they liked it or not. We did not have any control over what we saw in the newspaper or what we saw on TV or what we heard on the radio, because that's really all we had: TV, newspaper, and radio, print and radio. And you know what? Once upon a time, when consumers just absorbed this type of information and this type of advertising, guess what? It worked. You put when Facebook first started, you put an ad out on Facebook or a post out on Facebook. You didn't even pay for advertising at that point. And guess what? It worked. It brought people to your door. Once upon a time, we put an advertisement in the newspaper. And guess what? The sale brought people to the door. But since about the early 80s, something very distinctual happened with consumer behavior. And in order to increase your sales, you really need to understand the psychology of consumer behavior and how that changes constantly. So let's do a little bit of a deep dive. In the 1970s, guess what? Anyone remember the VCR? Put your hands in the air like you just don't care if you remember the VCR. That was the first time consumers had control of the amount of advertising they saw. Guess what? Were you recording a TV show and you hit pause during the commercials so you didn't have to see them? Yeah, I did too. But now we have even more control as consumers to limit the amount of advertising that we see, meaning your customers are trying not to see you on purpose. Makes it really hard for businesses to reach their customer if they just refuse to be seen. So thanks to Netflix, we moved from cable TV and we canceled our cable. Why? Because Netflix didn't have any ads. And what do we do when we see an advertisement on our phones? What do we do when we see an advertisement? We just scroll on by. Anything that looks like an advertisement no longer works the way it used to. The ShamWow guy does not have a presence in advertising today because the consumer has the control on whether they see you or not. So what does this mean for you? Well, essentially, we need to know that, as I said, what worked on social media a few years ago doesn't work today because we scroll differently. Social media has changed. No longer does the consumer read to scroll up on their phone. Guess what they're doing? They're scrolling across. which means they're watching video. That's all they're doing. So number one, if your business is not producing video to share about what you do and the transformation you give your customers, you're simply not being seen. In fact, 83% of people say not all our ads are bad, but I'd really like to filter out the obnoxious ones. Which ones aren't obnoxious? 91% of people say that ads are more intrusive 2 to 3 years ago. They want an ad filter, 77% said, and 87% of people said they say that there are more ads in general on their streams that they just don't want to see. And due to retargeting, thanks Meta, as businesses, we can retarget the people that have seen our stuff, but they know that we're doing it. 79% of people feel that ick feeling of being retargeted. So what do we really need to do? Well, we need the first point of understanding is marketing generates awareness. Marketing does not generate sales. I'll say that again. Marketing generates awareness of who you are, but it will not generate sales. What generates sales in your business is connection. Connection generates sales and cash flow. So how do we build connection in a world where there are so many consumer blocks against seeing our advertising messages? Well, we build and we need to focus on every single day, focus on getting together on the know, like, and trust model. The know, like, and trust model is the foundation of credibility marketing. People do business with people. You already know this, that they know, that they like, and that they trust. So in this digital world, how do we build that model into our messagings so we won't get blocked because people feel that we're too spammy, too salesy, too icky to really showcase the transformation we're able to give to them in their life by purchasing our products. Let's take a look at that know, like, and trust model. What is know? So what do you want customers want? Your customers want to know who you are. They want to know what you do. They want to know, why should I care what you know, who you are and what you do? So moving on to like, do they like you? Remember, not everyone's going to like you. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but do they like you enough to watch your educational videos? Do they like you because your values connect? Do they like what you have to say? And then the trust. Are you an expert in your field? What makes you an expert? How can you educate somebody to what I call an ethical buying decision? The consumers are so savvy now, they don't want to be sold to. They want to be educated so they themselves can make an ethical buying decision for themselves. And the big one that builds trust, have others had any form of success or great experiences by purchasing your product or service? Because I can tell you, without know, without like, and without trust, there are no transactions coming into your business. So you don't have that conversion from your marketing strategies. So what is this credibility, know, like, and trust? Credibility simply is the quality of being believable or worthy of trust. So essentially, your customers have to think that they know you, like you, and trust you before they come and even walk into your door to see what you're all about. And just a little tidbit, if you're saying, oh, you know what, I did this marketing post on Instagram and I did it 3 times and I got no response. My advertising's just not working. Is it building that opportunity for your customer to know you? Are you educating so they like you? And do you have that beautiful trust component that will build that credibility? And guess what? There's more. People need to see your content, especially online. They need to see some form of content at least 28 times. I'm going to say that again, 28 times before they even pick up the phone and say hi, or they decide to click and buy, or they decide, you know what, I need to go into Sims Furniture and check out their new couches because I see 28 times they've got a couch sale. And Lyle's taught me a lot about great couches. So when you're thinking about building this credibility marketing, you know, okay, I have to build know, like, and trust for my customers. But as I often get asked in my marketing planning strategy sessions, how do I do that? So we'll do a little dive into this. Key credibility campaign factor number 1. You have to understand and get your customers. What do they want out of working with you? If you're working with Rebecca, and I have been, and I've had a really difficult time with one of my knees, it's does Rebecca get the pain I've been in? Yes, she does. Okay, then she'll understand what I'm going through. Your customer really doesn't care about you. They want you to care about them and prove that you do. So speaking to your customer pain points and the rewards they want from purchasing your product and service is something that we can do a deep dive in at the Regional Business Support Network. If you haven't already booked some free time with me, and it's the good 4-letter F word, free, sponsored by Community Futures Central Alberta and the town of Olds, you have access to my services. We can build that credibility campaign for you at no charge. So identifying what are the pain points that your customer has, what are the rewards that your customer wants, and how do you build a marketing campaign that speaks to those elements? Because we all have amazing tools that we can get wrapped up in, but your customer isn't interested in the tools. What they're interested in is the transformation the tools can bring. How will they feel when they're walking around hiking wearing some beautiful tights that represent the mountains? How did they feel when they've got a great graphic design project already done? We get so wrapped up in promoting the tools of what we do, we forget to promote the transformation, that how the customer will feel after they've had an engagement with these tools. So, credibility campaign number 2. Build your reputation on expertise and education. That means that you need to allow people to know you and step into your own expertise and educate people. There's a very fine line between what I call preaching versus teaching, but we want to teach people about the transformation they can have. Not just buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, but teach them, how does this product feel if it's a piece of clothing? How will you feel after you've had your knee worked on by Rebecca? Or how will you feel after having an osteopathic assessment? How will you feel at the end of the day when you get to put your feet up on the couch, watch your favorite Netflix show on the new couch you just bought from Sims Furniture? How will you feel? So educating people is key in your credibility campaign. Number 3, showcasing and connecting with your clients through your values and community relations, allowing them to like you. So as Simon Sinek says in his book, Start With Your Why, people will connect with you if you showcase your values. If you're a community builder, showcase your business at a community event that you're having a great time. If you are a more green energy type of business, then showcase what are you doing for the environment. Educate me. So showcasing and connecting based on values and community relations, again, builds your credibility, builds that trust, and whether people decide whether they know, like, and trust you before they come and buy from you. So credibility factor number 4, building trust with testimonials and reviews. I can tell each one of you today what an amazing business consultant I am and what a great coach I am. And all these greats coming out of my mouth is absolute garbage. If it comes out of your mouth, it simply won't work to build that credibility or trust unless you're educating. But if you build what I call an army of ambassadors to speak for you, to generate good reviews and testimonials, guaranteed people will believe them over what you have to say. So engaging and building trust through testimonials and reviews. So these are the highlights. And I know I only have a few more minutes left, but I really want to dig deep. So bear with me to the next section. This really is the first step in a deep dive for know, like, and trust. Wake up in the morning and ask yourself, how do I allow my MVC, and MVC stands for most valuable customer, to get to know me? So here's a couple of tips on the slide. Share your story. Who are you? What made you get into this business in the first place? What do you like to do for fun? What kind of coffee do you drink? People want to get personal. Consumer behavior has changed so much that we don't trust brands anymore. You cannot hide behind your logo. You have to be the face of your business. And believe me, if I can do videos, anybody can do videos. So share your website, social media, newsletters, tell your personal story. The second one is behind the scenes content. People love behind the scenes content because guess what? We don't window shop anymore. No consumers that I know are walking around Main Street, Olds or Innisfail or Penhold or Sundry doing window shopping. We need to go behind the scenes and bring the windows to them. You can do that through virtual tours. You can do through snippets of information about your business, whether you're having a birthday in the business that day, whose birthday it is, and that engages your team as well. So introducing your team, either through blog posts, videos. Video is absolutely king. I can't say that enough, and you probably already know that. Offering free resources to educate people, such as webinars just like this, ebooks, guides, downloads from your website. Participating in community events is key, but most of all, people hate being sold to. It's a consumer behavior change that has been developed from the force-fed advertising we had to deal with for 50 years. So open up, share your vulnerability, be authentic, especially on social media, because it needs to be social. So anything that looks like a commercial, feels like a commercial, will be scanned on by. Anything looks like, oh, what is Michelle saying today about the weather? Or what is she saying about what's going on in her business right now? Or educating. Be authentic. That is super important. Be yourself. So, teaching, not preaching. How do we educate our customers to make an ethical buying decision? Well, first of all, it's time for you to believe that you are the expert in your field. It's time to show up and start teaching people, not preaching, about shop local, buy my stuff, and have that guilt complex that they will run away from. Engage them. Ask them to move in to learn more about you and your business and each product in your business. How-to videos are great, and YouTube is built upon them. So think about, okay, can I make a how-to video on an element of business that maybe I got a question from a customer and somebody else might have that question too. So you build a data bank of FAQs to educate your customers to an ethical buying decision so they will know you and like you. So another way is to let someone else showcase your expertise. Get interviewed on a subject matter, on a podcast, or on another webinar. If someone says, you know what, I'd like you to speak at a special event, get up on stage. Because someone putting you on stage automatically transfers trust to you and builds your credibility. So think about speaking at conferences or in person or create your own stage digitally. Think about podcasts. Are there other people that have a podcast that you could go on as a guest? And really think about that subject matter that puts you in the expert seat that you can showcase from somebody else's stage. Now the big one, allowing people to trust you. How do we do that? Well, first, trust comes as the third element of the credibility marketing campaign. We have to build the know. We have to build the like. Now we build the trust. And as I said before, once upon a time, we used to call this good old-fashioned word-of-mouth marketing. Quite often, I have businesses that says, yes, I built my business on word of mouth. That is wonderful, but word of mouth moves a lot slower than it used to. But on a digital scale, it also moves a lot faster. So a credibility campaign really is that good old-fashioned word-of-mouth advertising, but made digital, because that's how the consumer has changed. Not as much in person getting together, but a lot of wondering what word of mouth is online. So here's a little stats for why you need to collect these reviews and testimonials. 92% of consumers believe suggestions from friends and family more than advertising. I can absolutely tell you that I bought a vacuum cleaner just like this yesterday. So I'm vacuuming my house, and you know what? My vacuum, it's a little sad on the sucky side, to be honest. And so I call a friend who I know has a professional cleaning company, and I say, you know what? I'm looking for a new vacuum cleaner. What's your favorite? And she sent me a link to Amazon. And guess what? I bought it. I didn't look twice. So that is the simple addition to, like, at 93%. Based on somebody's recommendation, I bought a product. When's the last time you did the same? Based on somebody's recommendation, you bought a product. 88% of people trust online reviews written by other customers as much as they trust recommendations from personal contacts. 74% of consumers believe suggestions from friends and family more than advertising. And guess what? Here's the other sad statistic. Even though it is proven that reviews and testimonials, 92%, 88%, 74%, but only 33% of businesses are actively seeking and collecting reviews from their customers, even though we don't even buy a toothbrush anymore online without reading 10 reviews. Think about it. This is what your customer needs the most from you right now. So if you're doing nothing in your business but having a collection, actively collecting customer reviews, that's what your customer wants. We need to say, okay, I'm going to make an intentional effort to collect the reviews to build know, like, and trust with my customers, because consumer behavior, even post-COVID, has changed to the point where they don't buy anything without a review. And if we don't have the reviews, mostly we don't have the customers. So, customer feedback. Using customer testimonials can regularly can approximately increase your revenue by 62%. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. 62% increase in sales by using customer testimonials. Customer testimonials placed alongside a more expensive item increased conversion rates by 380%. Can you believe it? 380%. Harvard Business says increasing a business's Yelp rating, and this could be a Google review as well, by just 1 star can increase the revenue by 5 to 9%. And on average, testimonials on a sales page on your website can increase conversions by 34%. Customers who interact with reviews are 58% more likely to buy. So if you're not collecting reviews and repurposing them to build that credibility, you're losing money. It's just that simple. We have to make a concerted effort to get these reviews. But how? I hear you ask. Well, I'm going to tell you in the next 4 minutes that I have left in this presentation. So first of all, let's take the pressure off getting testimonials from your customers. If you ask your customer for a testimonial, they said, oh, yes, I'd love to get you one. And then they move on with their busy life and they forget. And they see you in the grocery store the following week and they go, oh, Michelle, I meant to get you that review. I'll get it for you. And then guess what? Now, by seeing you, they have added an element of stress to their life because they feel they owe you something. They want to get it to you, but they haven't had the time. They don't know how to write it. And now you are their stressor. They see you again in the grocery store and they're like, oh, I owe Michelle that review. I promised I would get it to her. I really like her service, but I'm just not too sure how to write this thing. And I don't want to tell her that because she might think whatever she wants to think. So instead of going down the aisle to say hello to her, I'm moving to the next aisle and hopefully she doesn't see me. Right? Who's done that? So we need, as business owners, to take that pressure off our customers so we don't become stressors to them. And we all know what stress does. It puts someone into fight, flight, or freeze. So generally speaking, they won't come back to your business because you've put them under pressure. So let's take a look at how to do it. First of all, we need to know the types of customer testimonials. Video testimonials are the creme de la creme because they're more personal, they're more engaging, statistically proven to get higher conversion rates, meaning cha-ching transactions, but they do take time and effort to collect and display. Written testimonials are a little easier to collect. You're simply going to call your raving fans and say, hey, Rebecca, it's Michelle. I just want to know, since we've done our credibility marketing strategy session, what's it been like in your business using these new tools? Or how was your experience working with me? Or just following up on the service that we gave you as part of our aftercare program. Just want to check out. And then you stop talking. And your customer will give you their experience verbally. And you'll say, you know what, Rebecca, that was amazing. Can I please just put your name and your business name underneath that last comment you just gave me and use it in my promotions? And guess what? Rebecca's no longer spending the next 2 months being stressed and avoiding you in the grocery store because you've taken responsibility of writing the testimonial for her. You've used her own words and you've asked for permission, but she doesn't have to worry about, oh, I've got to get this thing to Michelle. I've got to get this thing to Michelle. And then audio testimonials are personal. They're engaging. You can still feel the emotion. They can be listened to anywhere, but the information is not retained as well as a video. So here's some examples. Here's some of the Regional Business Support Network examples. So when I'm thinking about reviews, we're looking for in the elements of a good review is just words and the person's name. And that can be achieved really easily in your new aftercare program by saying, and you could even blame me and say, I'm working with this business coach. She's asked me to call my customers and ask them one question, what's it like to work with me? And then you'll get these written reviews. On a scale of 1 to 10, they're about a 2 out of 10. At least you have something for someone to read and look at. The better review is what you see from Delina, my friend Deanna, where I actually have a picture of Deanna's face with her permission and her testimonial. So it does amp it up to about a 4 or 5 out of 10 because I can actually tie a real person to the commentary. And that real person's face will generate, I wonder what Deanna's talking about these days. And it will stop the scroll. So curiosity will get that review read. But even better, I think hang on. Even better is a video testimonial. I hope you can hear this. This is from Erin Manning, one of our first RBSN clients, and this is what she has to say. Can you hear that? Thumbs up if you can. No? Okay. No? For some reason, I need to stop sharing. Just 1 second, hold that thought. But when you're looking at why these sample videos work, I'm sorry you can't see my sample. Technological difficulties, let's go back. Statistics on video testimonials. Why are they the creme de la creme? 79% of consumers have watched a video testimonial to learn more about a company and its products and services, which means if you don't have them and they're looking for them, they will see somebody else who has them. You'll be missed if you don't have them. 2 out of 3 customers are more likely to purchase after seeing a testimonial video. 77% of those who have seen a testimonial video about a product or service say it has motivated them to purchase. So what I'm saying is if you don't have these testimonial videos, customers are seeing your competition who has, and they're shopping there. So how do you get a testimonial video? Well, guess what? We have Teams and Zoom and Google Meets where you can say to a customer, hey, can I send you a link? And I just want to get on a video call with you for a couple of minutes. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about our service, and I want to get your permission to record it. Now, if you have raving fans in your business who love you, and I know you do, they will jump on a call and say, yes, I will absolutely love to do it. As you can see by statistically proven, these video testimonials are the best in developing that know, like, and trust in your credibility marketing campaign. Better than just a written one with 5 stars, better than a photo and a written. Video is king, absolutely without fail. So you can see that when replacing your customer reviews with video testimonials on your landing page, meaning your website, your conversion rate can grow to 80%. That's an 80% increase in sales. And I know this is hard work. I know it's difficult to say, well, my customers might not, but then 1 or 2 might. And if you have 1 or 2 video testimonials, you can do what I call the rinse and repeat. Just keep sharing them, keep sharing them, keep sharing them. So I apologize, you can't hear Erin's testimonial, but I will say that if you want to see some testimonials, you can go to the Invest Olds Facebook page and see quite a few that we've already done there of our clients simply doing what I asked you to do. I called Erin, I said, hey, you know what was it like to work with me? Would you mind jumping on a video call? And then I used some wonderful AI to make it look pretty. And voila, I'm building know, like, and trust. If I can do it, you can do it too. One thing I want to say about Google reviews, it's important to get them, yes, but there's one thing we learned during COVID. At the very beginning of COVID, March, April 2020, because of the pandemic and the scare, people were scared, Google actually started shutting down its departments for a little while. And one of its departments that it shut down first was its Google Reviews department. So what happened was people who had not saved their Google reviews in a Word document or somewhere elsewhere other than on Google lost their Google reviews. When the Google review department came back, there was a technical glitch and the reviews were gone. So please, 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 these reviews are like gold. They can increase your sales. And it's statistically proven. So if you get a customer who does put a Google review in, please just go in and take a screenshot of it or copy and paste it into a Word document so you can repurpose it on other platforms. And if something bad were to happen, you've not lost the golden nuggets of your business. Reviews are just as valuable as any other asset in your business. So with that said, and I know I'm over time, so thanks for hanging with me. Just as a reminder, people buy from people that they trust. So it's so important to build that into your marketing messages and how you promote your business. How can you allow your customer to know you, to like you, and to trust you using the steps that I've gone through today? And so if you would like to do a deep dive on this element for your business, I am available at no charge to you to come and spend a couple of hours and do a credibility marketing campaign with you, do a deep dive into these concepts, and hopefully increase that revenue, statistically proven, by helping you build know, like, and trust in a credibility campaign. So you can reach out to me at investolds.ca/RBSN. You can call me at 403-845-9150 to book an appointment, and I'd love to chat with you. So with that said, I'm going to open up the floor for, I'll stop sharing my screen and open up the floor for some questions if you have them, some quick questions. So if you have a question, feel free to just unmute. No, it's clear as mud today. I know so much, so much. Kelty, you've got your hand up.
How do I unmute?
Kelty, I cannot hear you. Are you
Can you
able
hear
to
me?
unmute? No. Hang on one second. Rebecca can hear her. I cannot hear her. Okay, Kelty, can you speak again?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
There you are. I can hear you now.
Awesome. So my question is what do you suggest to encourage people to leave reviews? Because I have like an app on my website for reviews and stuff like that. I don't know if there's an incentive that a person can use. It's just we're not getting much response.
Yeah, absolutely. As a business owner, it is never your customer's obligation to give you a review. Sometimes they want you, but they forget. And once they're forgotten, you're gone. It is your responsibility to go on what I call a review hunt. So Kelty, I would call someone, and it takes time. Like, it is time consuming, I'm not going to lie to you, but it is worth it. So I would call probably 2 or 3 people a day and make time block to do it, to call and say, hey, you know what, it's Kelty. I really appreciate you bought this beautiful scarf with the lovely mountains on it at our last market. How's that been working for you? Are you enjoying it? What was it about it that made you buy it? Can you tell me a little bit about what your buying experience was with us? So it is hard work. I'm not going to lie to you. It's tough. But it is not your customer's responsibility to leave a review. If you want them, you have to go get them.
Okay.
Rebecca, did you have your hand up? No, you're just shading your face from that beautiful sunshine you're sitting in. That's awesome.
The sun's coming right in the window, so it's
awesome.
I was going to suggest for Kelty too that, like, have your phone ready at your markets, because people will stop by that maybe have bought them before and say, hey, can I get a video of you talking about it right now, or things like that maybe.
Yes, that's definitely true. Yeah.
Great brainstorming. I love that, Rebecca. Thank you. Remember, we're not bothering people when we ask them for their feedback. Most people are happy to be heard. So when you're thinking about, I don't want to bother people, they're probably more than happy for you to call them and say, hey, what was your experience with me? Then ask for a review or a testimonial and run from you for the next 3 months. Miss Annie, I see you. What's your question today?
Give me a minute. Sorry, I just muted my other audio.
That's okay.
My question is, so on Facebook reviews, is there a way to share directly from the Facebook review to kind of share it on your profile instead of doing a screenshot of each reviews?
To my knowledge, no. Reviews are not shareable unless you repurpose them in Canva and repost as a separate post, or take a screenshot of the reviews. I mean, Kim Free from Small Town Girl Promotions, would you be your best person to ask on that? But to my knowledge, they're not shared, like a direct share is not possible. But remember too, if you're posting on social media, if you're doing 4 posts a week, for example, do a post on how can I get my customers to know me? How can I educate, as in show my expertise, and teach, not preach? And then 2 more reviews. And it's okay to repeat those reviews, because I mean, how, by a show of hands, who is on Facebook or social media this morning has totally forgotten what they've seen?
Mhm.
That's why we need to see it 28 times, because we forget what we see like even a couple of hours ago. So good question, Annie, thanks.
One
Anyone
more
else?
comment, Michelle.
Yeah.
So I did see a review of our local bakery in town. They did an awesome review about you, and you're right. I do remember scrolling and I took a 2-minute pause to listen to it, because all they said, I can stand behind them and say, yes, Michelle is awesome. She helped me help my business. So video has a lot of power.
Thank you. And thanks for the testimonial, Annie. I appreciate that. Okay, so I know I've gone about 15 minutes over time. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of our Regional Business Support Network Biz Bites, we call them. So powerful information in bite-sized pieces. If you want to do a deep dive, I've already given you that information. Our next Biz Bite, which I will absolutely send the link to everyone who's registered, is all about how to use AI in your business. I know, it's amazing. So it's not just me. We have a panel of AI experts that are joining me March 18th at 11 a.m. for a great conversation about the platforms. It's not a deep dive because the platforms can be quite integrated, but it is a synopsis of what AI can and cannot do for your business, and how do you access those amazing tools that we have out there. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you, and we will hopefully see you next month. Bye for now.